During the month of February on Chasing Brighter, we've been talking about resetting our nervous systems, resting without guilt, and reconnecting with ourselves. Decluttering isn't about having less, it's about making room. And as we head into March, we're shifting from turning inward to gently moving forward. And today's conversation brings all of that into a place we often overlook, but live inside every single day, our homes.
We are so excited to welcome back Deanna Mull. She is the founder and CEO of Dee's Declutter and one of our favorite podcasts, Organizing with Ease. Deanna helps busy women and families create spaces that don't just look organized, but actually support our lives. I think Deanna has always such great practical advice and actionable insights, which always make me feel good and inspired to do great things. As a wife, a mom of two, and a business owner, she understands the struggle we all have with just real life. And she brings us, I think it's such a grounded, compassionate approach to decluttering. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me today. Thank you.
Thank you. We're so excited to have you. And I know one of the things we love about your content and about what you're doing is that it's not about perfection, right? It's not about Pinterest-worthy homes, but it's about creating simple, sustainable systems that bring more calm and clarity to your life.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because your home it's your sanctuary, right? So when you walk into your home, how do you feel about it, right? Do you have stress? Do you ugh, I don't want to walk inside, right? And that makes a big difference. I mean, it really does. And clutter there's stats on it, right? Clutter causes anxiety, it causes, overwhelm, it causes stress. And, our cortisol levels just go crazy also, right? So clutter really does make a difference. I mean, it's an impact on us and also to our families.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think I talked with you about it when we had you on the podcast before, but my goal has been to have a home that's like a VRBO or like an Airbnb, where there's just not crap everywhere. And it's so funny because we were very delayed in putting Christmas stuff away because my kids had sports tournaments every single weekend after the holidays. And we love how our house feels at Christmas. It's lights and fun, but I put everything away and my house feels so empty and it feels so good. It feels so calm and it's empty. And I'm oh my gosh, I'm loving this.
Right? Does it make you feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's such a nice feeling to get there. But that's the steps that I have in my fresh start method is that it's the beginning, the start, right? And then the end.
Yeah.
So you start it's the hardest part. And then the end is the maintenance of it. You worked your way in the middle of everything. You make it, you go through the purging process. You make it all doable. You make it then aesthetically pleasing, right? With those bins and baskets if you want to, right? But then the last part is you've done all this work. You've done it. And then so how to maintain it? Because that's the hardest part. Right. So the first step is to get it going, right? There's always going to be something. Excuses are really good. If you have a guest room or if you have guests coming, perfect time to use that as an excuse to get the house ready, fluffed and ready to go. Right. And then once they leave, you're okay, great. Then I have to redo everything, make it so that, it's back to normal. And so that's kind of where that also helps out, those excuses of guests, people coming in, people not, you had just mentioned with the holidays as well, right? And now you feel really good about it, right? But it took a while because you had reasons why you didn't get to do it, right? Which is fine. Everybody has that. It's called life. It's called Life 101. And that's the best part of it. It's that the inspiration that we get on social media, right? That Pinterest perfect, that's great. It could be inspiration to see how your house could look like, right? But is it really? Could be, could not. Or does it give you stress? Why does their house look like that and mine doesn't, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to question yourself on that as well. But don't dig deep in that. Just look at it and be that's so pretty. Great.
Yeah.
Love it. Those are great inspirational stories. And I love how they have this arranged here. You know what? I might be able to do it in my own home or maybe not, or just leave it at that. But unfortunately, that doesn't really happen. We kind of look at that and be like,
Yeah. Well, and I think
why
it's so
is
much
this?
about,
Yeah.
yeah, like acceptance of who you are or where you are in life. When my kids were really little, I would get frustrated, and I had when my aunt come visit, and she was like, "Jess, your house isn't dirty. It's toy, like it's toys. Like you have children, there are toys out, there's not a lot you can do." And so also meeting yourself where you're at in life, right? If you have, well, maybe other people don't, but if you have little kids, you're going to have, like little riders and wagons and little things out all the time. And so then comparing to someone else who has a different, you don't know their life and what they're doing, that comparison, I think, can take our joy away sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just I think about in my mind when you were saying that, I was like, it was easier when it was just toys, in that like you can help them throw them in a bin or throw them whatever they needed to go. Whereas like even now, maybe it just kind of changes in its perspective, just because like now having older kids where it's just constantly little crap everywhere. Like even this morning, Wes like he was running late for school, and so he like just dumps out his clothes from baseball practice yesterday, like right on the counter. And I was like, is that really where they're going to go? Well, I don't have time to put anywhere. We got to go, And I'm like, who's going to pick that up? Am I just going to like set it there on the kitchen counter all day until he comes home? And so I guess that, that's kind of even one of my questions to talk about is like, it's sometimes we put a lot of responsibility on ourselves to do these things, but having those systems that really support your whole family, right?
Yes. And so it also depends on like for your children, like the age, right? So if like they're younger, like in the elementary stages, right? So you will have to help them and guide them and teach them, right? To take something out, you put it back in, right? So like also like with all those Legos are like the in thing now, right? I think they always been the in thing, right?
Yeah.
But then it grows and evolves, right? So then you have like your junior, like your middle school, same thing. But you can already start at that age already. So, but the hardest part is like the consistency from us as a parent because
Yeah,
it's so exhausting.
that's true.
It's like that repeat button. Like I could have sworn I said that yesterday, but like now I'm saying it again, but now I have to say it differently. And then you're hoping that it resonates like off to high school. But then high school, I have my girls. I seem to have my bathrooms are a store in itself. I think I have every store that you can possibly want any products of. I have them here in my bathroom. Okay. So it's also the dump, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, right? But at the end of the day, know that they understand the importance of being organized because they feel the difference of it, especially
Yeah.
when they're sitting at their desk and there's like all this clutter and like, the papers, the notebooks, the books, their computer, right? So I do see it does click, but it depends on the child, but over a time it does click. So
Yeah.
when my girls were younger, I threatened with the black bag. Okay. What did that mean? That meant like I would give them a deadline, be like, okay, fine. You know what? You have your clothes and everything lovely that we bought all this. It's now all on the floor. That's how it is. So I'll give you till Friday. I gave them an end date. If you don't pick up your clothes, if you don't hang them up, you don't put it, just literally just clean up the room. Otherwise, the black bag's coming. What do you mean? So black bag comes. They went off to school, came back, room is still the same. I actually even gave them till like I think 7 p.m. I think it was on a Friday or whatever. And I came into the room, took the black bag, picked everything off the floor, put it in the black bag. And they're like, what are you doing with the clothes? I'm like, I told you. There's consequences. This is not happening. But where are my clothes going? I'm like, oh, you kindly have just now donated them.
Oh.
No, donated? No. So yes. So she took everything out and she put it away. So unfortunately, that was like very drastic because I was at wit's end. I didn't know
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
to do.
We
Right.
understand. Yes.
And so you kind of like pick and choose, like,
Yeah.
your children. Right.
Mhm.
And so, of
Yeah.
course, those listeners are probably saying that's so dramatic. But at the end of the day, it actually worked. It worked for my girls. So even still to
Yeah.
this day,
Yeah.
they're much older now. Okay. Just much older. Right. And I say, do I need to bring out the black bag? No, mom, we're good. We're good. No black bag. We're good. And so, everyone has to pick and choose like how and what we learn as far as methods and tricks from social media, from friends, right? Because
Mhm.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you just have to try it out.
Yeah.
And the black bags is like the joke in the family now. And even our friends are saying, "Oh, Deanna, have you lately taken out the black bag yet for the girls?" I'm like, "No, actually, we
Yeah.
are pretty well." But it was only that one time, and it was so impactful to them that it made a difference that they
Yeah.
now say, "Oh, wow, I get it now." You know, but it's
Yeah.
hard. I mean, like even like trying to get routines set for kids, right? I mean,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
for the morning. So, I mean, even when the girls were growing up, I would have like a checklist on in the bathroom, you know, get their backpack ready. First off, brush your teeth, wash your face. Basic reminders. And then had them already have their own checklist. The night before, get your backpack ready, charge your computer, charge the iPad, like in middle
Mm-hmm.
school, right? Get those things done the night before so that in the morning, even for them in middle school and high school, they will then be like, oh, yeah, no, I got this, like, because they have it now. It's like a routine for them as a habit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do they forget things? Sure. Does it happen? Absolutely. But at least the bulk of it, it's been done. Especially like for the younger ones, if you get their uniforms out already the night before, you don't need to worry about if, there's socks that are missing or maybe something is dirty because then you figured it out the night before and not the morning of, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I like all that because what you're really talking about, and even going back to sort of how you help everyone create these spaces, is about like how you want things to bring you energy.
Mhm.
And like sometimes in the morning when you're running around like that, it really can, it depletes you so quickly, right?
It's exhausting. It is. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
exhausting. Yes. And so I think one of the things that you took on, and I mean, like I still to this day do it, even for myself, I do fill up my water bottle the night before. So it works itself out. It's great. It's a grab and go for the next day. Sometimes I actually maybe even have like 2 water bottles ready to go, not only for the gym, but also for like my girls or whatever. And it works because
Yeah.
I have to tell you that 1 minute, it's a long time in the morning. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like drying your nails. It's the longest
Yeah.
minute you could
It
possibly
is
have.
so crazy. Like I've been this is the season of life for me, winter and spring, where I leave my house about 7 and I don't come home sometimes until 7 or 9 p.m.
Mm.
And if I do everything the night before. Like I usually like I go to the gym and have like so I have if if I have my gym clothes and my workout clothes and my makeup, like every single thing ready to go, my morning is so much easier, right? Because then I can just focus on coffee, coffee, coffee right
Yeah.
away.
Okay, so
Um,
let me just share. Yeah.
yes,
Yes,
exactly.
do
Got to
have to
get
shop.
that
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah, gotta get
But
that coffee.
even if I have a day where I have a later start, as far as like I don't have to, like I still have to get my youngest to school, but maybe I have a few hours after drop off and I go to the gym. Even just having my workout clothes sitting out with my sneakers,
Mhm.
I don't know. There's something about that. Yes, it does save, like you're saying, the 1 to 2 minutes, but then also it's like one less decision
Mm.
because
Yes.
and I know you've talked about this before, but like the decision fatigue at the end
Yes.
of the day. So it just helps with not starting your day already having decision fatigue by 9 a.m.
Yeah. No, 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 and those long days, I mean, to try to get, like, yourself, how should I say it? To get it so that it's easier for you, right? So
Yeah.
preparing and planning is always hard to do. Everybody's different on how to do it, right? But if you take like small ones, like you just said, you got everything ready the night before, you get things ready in the morning, whatever. But that actually, you realize that what you're doing makes your morning start so much easier. Right. So you
Yeah.
figure that out. Right. So, like
Mm-hmm.
the same thing for me. So, for me on my weekly, I do Sundays. I do my meal planning on Sundays. I do also my calendar. It's whether my business, my personal. And then, of course, every day I look at my calendar as well. And then I see, do I need to pack up my car the night before? Like, where am I going super early in the morning? Because it's always those aha moments in the morning where you're just like, oh, or like you forget something and you're just like, oh, why didn't I do, like to alleviate that because there will always be that something. It always happens,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
that's just how it is, right? But if you got the majority of it already done, then you're like, oh, I'm good. Like, I got this,
Yeah.
right? And it
Yeah.
makes such a big difference because you're not stressed already
Yeah.
that early in the morning, like to
Yeah.
reduce the stress. Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, and we wanna talk
Mhm.
about some seasonal
Sure.
stuff, and then also because I know you mentioned your checklist, I wanna get into the checklists too, but, like, what are some if we're thinking of winter, right, what are maybe some systems or some things that you recommend for our listeners that support rest and routine in winter?
So like for winter, you have like your accessories, right? Like you'll have the boots, the jackets and things of that nature, right? We're going to go like really basic just to get like that idea, right? Like, so where is that dumping ground, right? Like, so do you walk into your home? Do your kids just drop it? Or do you actually have a place where they can like hang it up? Do you have the, like just the same thing like with like your shoes, right? So do you have like that shoe mat? Do you have like a rack for your shoes? Do you have a place where you can actually hang up the jacket rather than as opposed to just dropping it on the floor? So these things that are a little bit like as basic as walking into your home, right, and layering off makes a big difference on finding, because everything that you bring into your home has to have a place. So, so even for the seasonal, it's the same thing, right? So and that's your basic. So here in Miami, of course, we kind of did, but we still don't. But anyway, but the same thing applies, right? So we have a lot of rain jackets. We have like that type of accessories that use a lot of. So, where does that go? What about all those umbrellas? Do you have an umbrella in the car? Do you have an umbrella so those are the things that you also have to think about. And then also in regards to your sweaters. Like, how many sweaters do you have, right? Have you looked through them? Do they still fit? Do they not? Is it in season? It is not in season. So those things also for the winter also makes a big difference, right? And so, and also like with your wraps and with the pants and, are you going to go skiing? That's a whole nother wardrobe of skiing, right? So like, how do you store them? Do you store them hanging up? Do you store them in the Ziplocs? Like how you can have those airtights. A lot of my clients put them actually in actual like bins that are just for like their ski clothes, to ski accessories. A lot of them they actually like have that, but they put them in a back closet. They put it somewhere else. Some actually just use an entire closet because they can for their winter and also for their winter and also just for their travels. But let's say you don't have that space. Let's say you don't have that extra closet. Let's say you don't. So, fold it up, put it in those airtight bags like you're traveling, because then your ski clothes, they get a little bit thin, pack them up, and then you can stack them. It's easy to stack.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, then they're not as bulky.
They're not as
Because
bulky.
that's the
And you
other
can
thing with
actually
a lot of
travel that
winter
way too.
stuff.
Yes, and you can
Okay.
travel that way too in your suitcase.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That sounds amazing.
You're the one with the
I like
boots
this.
and do you guys in Chicago, curious, do you guys, did the boys or do they wear snow pants to school sometimes or no, that's not a thing?
In the elementaries, absolutely 100%. You either wear
Wow.
them
Yeah.
to school or you pack them because if it's a lot of snow, they'll go outside.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, that's
okay.
such a good thing to point out, Deanna, too. Like, I don't think about that because we pretty much, they have jokes about teen boys or teenagers just wearing t-shirt and shorts year round.
Right.
And even I know, Kelly, even though you live in Chicago, your son would like to dress that way too. But I think like just thinking about, oh my gosh, there's a whole other wardrobes that we have to be getting out depending on where you live and where does that fit and where do you put everything. And
Yep.
that I can imagine is overwhelming when the temperature shifts and you've got to be pulling out boots and pants and coats and so just to
It's
think
more to
about
like
yeah.
organize, more to like
Yeah.
tidy up. I definitely think it adds. Plus, like, even like the salt and stuff that's on like the floor, or like whether it's like staining just because it's like wet and when it dries, or the salt crystals, all that stuff ends up being a little more effort too.
A little bit more
Yeah.
cleaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
And so you mentioned your weekly or whatever, and I
Mhm.
know you generously offering our listeners your free daily, weekly, and monthly checklist. So can you tell me a little bit about your checklists and how we can
Yes.
implement those to help with our own organizational style?
Yeah, so this discovery of like the checklist, daily, weekly, and monthly, it evolved itself. Okay. So just to let everybody know, right? So one of the questions that I get often is as an organizer, my clients will say, so is your house perfect? Is your house like how are your cabinets? Right. So, okay. So just to give you a little bit of a history here. So the house that I currently live in, it took me about a year, a little bit more of a year and a half. So to literally get it to where it is now. Okay, so
Yeah.
it just it took that long.
Yeah, it takes time.
And so that is where I realized that the maintenance, which is the last step, is always the hardest. So coming through and going through everything myself, I realized that things have to change in order for me to keep this way because I
Mhm.
didn't want to have to do it all over again. Right. So now it's more of that maintenance. Right. So the daily for me came about where I needed to make my life easier because I would forget things. I would have to drive back home because I had a meeting and I forgot this. And I'm like, how did I forget this? So things that happened to me, I realized I needed to start writing down like what were my most obvious, right? And then what were the ones, like, what are the things that are like your biggest pet peeves? Right? So you have to think about that too, because everybody's different, right? And so I have two. I talk about this a lot, is the laundry, because laundry is just my nemesis. It just is. It just is, right? And then also dirty dishes in the sink. So how can I make that so that it's easy for me and so that I don't have that agita and that overwhelming and anxiety because I experienced it. I sometimes still do too. If my hubby is like, hey, I'm like, hey, what happened here? We need to be on point here, right? Right. So to get the family on board, that's another topic
Mhm.
in itself. But in just getting yourself to figure out like what are those places in your home that bother you so much, right? That you need to do something about it. And how is it that you could fix it? Everything is fixable. You just need to, and the figuring out is always the hardest part. Remember, that's the first step, right? To figure out what would work. So for me, for the laundry, we tried, I don't know, every other day, which is now, this is it. We do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. We tried every day of the week. We tried one day a week. We tried over the weekends. But then I'm realizing over the weekends is like family time, quality time. It's like those times where you're like with the family, the kids have activities. You don't want to have to worry about laundry because laundry is a process, right? You put it in the
Mhm.
washing machine, put it in the dryer, then you have to fold it. And then what? Well, the thing is that when you fold it, it needs to be put back. And so that's instead of like that armchair that's like
Yeah.
in the bedroom because
Mhm.
it's an easy, oh, I'll get that till later. Yeah, that never happens. Or you just leave it on like the treadmill because that's where that happened because it's just easy to hang out, hang that over there, right? So for me, it was more of like breaking up my laundry schedule. So I do linens on Mondays. I do like 2 loads. So that's 3. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Wednesdays, then I'll do my towels and then loads. And then Fridays, I do my bath mats and then, loads. But of course, if there's something in between that needs to be washed, I'll maybe, even on a weekend, that might, but those are only exceptions. Like that's just because, and so that took a long time to figure that all out, but it
Mhm.
works for us. Sometimes there's
So
only two days that might work. Maybe there's some that do everyday laundry because of their family dynamics, which is okay, right? Because that's what I'm saying. Like everybody needs to figure this out. And if you can start like somewhat of a puzzle for you to see, give it at least 2 weeks, maybe even a month. I know a month sounds like really long, but try 2 weeks to see if that might work for your schedule and seeing if that, like, so, but you have to first figure out like, what is it? It's like, so for me, it was the laundry and it was the dirty dishes in the sink. And that's how I
so
started my daily and my nightly because I needed to figure that out.
question for you on the laundry piece, which is breaking it up into a more frequent
Mhm.
activity during the week, then do you find it's like shorter blocks of time per se than like say
Um,
like doing it once a week on Saturday where you're doing all these loads and you're doing all this folding in
yes.
one time?
So laundry takes a really long time, right? So for me, I wanted to make it shorter. I wanted to have
Mhm.
more time. So it was also more of like more time, quality time with the family and for myself. I didn't want to feel stuck and not be able to go out with my girlfriends to have brunch on a Saturday to say, oh no, I can't. I got to do laundry. Right. So like I needed to like actually like take and what was my non-negotiables? Like, what is it that I want to be able to do and how am I going to get there? Right. So am I going to be able to say, oh yeah, no, I can go because I've got my house somewhat in order? Makes you feel really good. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to feel obligated to say no to something where you really want to go, but you can't because you have a house obligation.
Mhm.
Right. So yes. So that's why I try to do the week, like I said, for the laundry. Now, again, it took a while to figure this all out. I mean, it was to the point where I'm just like, okay, is this really going to work? And so I even tried like every day, but that was too exhausting for me. I mean, I do have clients and I do have friends that do laundry every day because that works for them. And maybe in that, I mean, that's just how it works. But they actually tried it out. But then again, they also free up their weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think the end of the result was that they wanted to have quality time on the weekends and not have to worry about the laundry because it
Mm-hmm.
can get a little bit overwhelming.
Yes,
And the
100%.
piles and the piles.
When
Mm-hmm.
we had years ago, and I still have housekeeper now, but years ago I had a housekeeper and I was like, had babies and I was like embarrassed. The laundry basket was like overflowing. And I said something to her about the laundry. And she said, all of my clients, it's the laundry.
Mhm.
And, it was just really validating how, everyone hates the laundry. And that is where for so many people, and she used to just toss in a few loads while she was coming there. And I notice we do it more often now. I say we, my husband has taken over all the laundry and that's his thing. But I can tell you as the person that just puts my clothes away, it's so much less overwhelming to
Yes.
just be putting away a few pieces of clothes at a time
Mm.
versus when I had like 10 piles to put away. That's overwhelming. And
Yeah.
I'm like, never mind. That's going to take me too long. I don't want to put those away. And then they just would sit there forever.
Exactly.
So it's been
Right. So
easier. Yeah.
you've say that's what I'm saying. So that there's that overwhelming. And then the best part is that you're able to then put your clothes where they belong.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
if you fold it up, it's always great to fold it up and then put it away. Otherwise it places there and then it stays there unless you actually put it actually in the drawer, put it
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
closet, hang it up. And that's the last step, which is making that little effort because guess what? You're going to have to find for it. And then you're losing time when you're trying to find for it. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh wait, I know I had it here. Where's that white top? Where's that white top? I know I had it somewhere.
Yes.
I know it got
Well,
washed."
yeah. And it's like what you're saying too, I think decluttering, like it's not managing your household isn't
No.
just about aesthetics, right? It
No.
really impacts your daily life, your functioning
Mhm.
of your family, how you feel, like you talked about our cortisol levels, our mental, physical, emotional health. And so we have to look at what works for us specifically, right? Like you're
Yes.
saying, we have to, it's not like we're going to download your checklist and our life is fixed. It's going to take us a while
Oh,
to
yes.
figure out what works for us and our household and where we're at right now, daily, weekly, and monthly to see what works. And then that will shift seasonally depending on where you are in life. And so I love, right? It's just such a person to person, thing.
Oh, yes. And that's the best part. That's the beauty of it. So, like, if you actually are willing to take this on, like the daily, and to see
Mm-hmm.
the result. So, there's one thing that we all neglect to do. And no matter what project we take on, whether it's the little bit, whether it's a big project, we actually have to congratulate ourselves and to just give ourselves a pat on the back, have an extra cup of coffee, a glass of wine, whatever time of day it is. But because if we don't congratulate ourselves, if we don't do that to ourselves, then we don't feel the satisfaction of like, is this really worth it? So if you say, hey, listen, I did the work, I'm figuring this out, and man, that's pretty good. I'm going to celebrate me.
Yeah.
You have to celebrate me
Mm-hmm.
because if
I
that's
love that.
then your family sees that. That's like a
Yeah.
reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Be like, "Hey, mom is doing this," or, "Dad, this is really great." You had mentioned that your husband does the laundry, so mine is taking on some too, so trying to get him into that laundry schedule. Today's Wednesday. Remember it's Wednesday. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I'll get to it. No, no, no. It's Wednesday. We're on the schedule. But I mean, you know what? The thing is that yes, it's great to have a schedule. Can you get off the schedule? Sure. Things happen. Sure. But you have to come back to it so that you're able to continue. Right. So it's so easy to just go back
Yeah.
into those old routines. But if you worked so hard to figure something out that really works, get back, go do ahead, go, do it. Because it's definitely possible. So that's where that daily and the more nightly came about. And so, the thing is with the dirty dishes in the sink, I took it to the next level. But of course, so I wash for at night for my dirty dishes. I, rinse everything out, put it in the dishwasher. I do run my dishwasher every night. And that's
Yeah.
just how it is. Because then the next morning, coffee, unloading. It's like my system, right? The counter's already clean. Everything is great. Are there some nights where I'm just so exhausted? Absolutely. But I know the feeling the next morning of what it feels like of having all this clean because the kitchen is the heart of the home.
Hmm.
So even when you wake up in the morning, you want to be able to. Now, are there nights where you're so exhausted? I'm like, yeah, that's okay. I know I'm not going to like myself in the morning. I'm just gonna go to sleep. Or, "Hubby, can you do the dishes?" Like, so but it's okay. I mean, it's like I said, it's perfection at its best, but you know what? It's working. Are there gonna be some days that is not gonna happen? Absolutely. And that's
Yeah,
okay. That's the best part. It's okay. That's it. And
absolutely.
that's how that is. It's perfect. It's perfect in the sense that you have your systems. That's where it's
Hmm.
perfect. Mhm.
I love that. And I've noticed based on a lot of advice I've been following is that like when we do have a cleaning person come because we just have that person coming once a month where I'm trying to maintain, but like I'm not feeling stressed
Mhm.
the day before or the morning of trying to scramble and get everything picked up because I do clean before the cleaning lady. Because again, I want her to do I don't want anything to be in her way. If she spends more time picking stuff up, then I feel like then it's not as much of the what I want her to do, which is like clean the floors or do the things. So it's like a partnership in that way. But anyway, I found that having those regular routines helps with that too.
Oh, yes. And that's why it's so important to when you acknowledge this and see it, you see the results. Like you see like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so the cleaning lady, okay, so because now she can do her job. Now she can actually go through it and it's not wasting her time. She's actually going to be very productive. So that's where that productivity comes into place, right? For all of us.
Yeah.
Whether you
Yeah.
bring somebody in, whether it's for your family, for your
Yeah.
husbands, for your kids, they see that as well. I mean, it's a win-win. It's just a matter of like getting there and trying to it's always the figuring out. And the best part is you can figure it out and be like, ah, this isn't working. That's great because you know what? While you're figuring it out, you're like, oh, wait, no, I think this is going to work better for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the
That's a
best
great
part,
point.
right? Like, so someone gave me this advice, but that's okay because you tried it, but now you're realizing that this is better for you and it's working. And guess what? You run with it, you try it out, see if it works. And
Yeah,
that's the best part because knowing that you're trying to figure this out, it's knowing that, you're trying
Yeah.
yeah.
You'll get there.
and
And
Yeah.
you'll
it's
get
like
there.
you're talking about it's about creating simple, sustainable systems that bring us more calm, clarity, and
Mhm.
ease. And like we've been talking about this whole episode, that our space it can either drain our energy
Yes.
or help restore it. And so I love that so much. Do you have anything coming up, anything you're offering your clients or what you have going on that you'd like to share with our listeners to know about?
Well, let's see. I do have a coaching program
Mm-hmm.
that I offer, and so you take a quiz and you figure this. It helps you out, kind of like it's like an eight minute quiz, just to see like where you might fall into my coaching program. So I
Yeah,
do offer
yeah.
three. I do a mini momentum, a core, and then a total transformation.
Mhm.
And so if that resonates with you, that would be lovely to join. It is a one-on-one, so that's actually, it's nice. It's work. We make it things happen, so to speak. And then of course, I also have speaking that I'm doing here locally, and then you never know, might be doing travels as well. But
Yeah, that's awesome.
just sharing the message out that it's okay that whatever you're trying to make that work for you, just step by step, little by little and just take a breather. That's all I can say. Just take a
Yeah,
breath because it's going to work
yes.
itself out, It really is. And it's not always about the bins and the baskets, even though aesthetically pleasing, it does serve its purpose. Don't get me wrong, even with the labels, right? But it's just a better way to help you stay where you're at as far as
Mhm.
organizing.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yes. And we were just talking before we hit record about how we love a quiz, right?
Oh,
Because you
yes.
get immediate feedback. So I love that. And like we mentioned earlier in this episode, that you are offering our listeners your free daily, weekly, and monthly checklist.
Hmm.
Listeners, you can find that in our show notes on our website and also at our website, chasingbetter.com. or Deanna's website, dsdeclutter.com. That's DSDECLUTRR.com. You can also find more out about Deanna at her website or on social media, same handle, D's Declutter. And, this was so great.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, thank
thank
you
you.
so much for having me. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you everyone for listening. If you want to read our blog, find out more about us, or sign up for our newsletter, please visit us at chasingbrighter.com, or you can find out, and it's on socials at our handle at chasingbrighter. Thank you.
Have a great day.